I cheated on my husband. Now he refuses to pay child support for my affair baby and demands a divorce. Hey, Reddit fam. It's me, Amber, a 26-year-old gal. For the past 3 years, I've been with Derek, who's 27. Our relationship was pretty typical. We had our fair share of arguments like any other couple, but we always patched things up. But recently, I made a mistake that caused Derek to vanish from my life, leaving me utterly bewildered. Who knew that going on a date with a wealthy guy would cause such a huge rift? I never imagined that one slip-up could shatter our relationship like this. Derek's reaction caught me completely off guard and I'm still reeling from it. Just to fill you in, I met Derek while working as a model for a big brand ad campaign. He was one of the models too, but there was something intriguing about him that drew me in. We hit it off during a break, realizing we had loads in common beyond modeling. Our bond deepened as we exchanged numbers and soon evolved from friendship to dating. Our time together was filled with joy, adventures, and a profound emotional connection that I never thought possible. Given my hectic schedule, Derek became my partner in crime, my confidant, and my best friend, and I couldn't have been happier. Our relationship has taught me the value of taking risks and being open to unexpected connections. Derek has shown me a love that transcends surface-level attractions, and I'm thankful for the authentic bond we've built. Being models, we relied on landing as many gigs as possible to cover our bills and expenses. Thankfully, we were both successful in our careers, so finances weren't a concern. However, everything changed when the pandemic hit. Suddenly, we found ourselves struggling to make ends meet. To ease the financial strain, we made the decision to move in together, pooling our resources. Initially, it felt more like having a roommate with minimal intrusion into each other's lives. Together, we managed to navigate the financial challenges and make do with our limited savings, but very soon we started having petty fights about who washes the dishes, who cooks food, etc., etc. I realized that Derek was only a good face and did not like participating in any of the house chores. Also, I hated the way he managed his money. He did not have a concept of saving money for emergencies or having some money stashed away for bad times. I found it frustrating to constantly pick up after him and cover for his lack of responsibility. Eventually, I had to have a conversation with him about our expectations and boundaries when it came to sharing responsibilities and managing finances. I told him how we needed to find a better way to split responsibilities. He did agree to mend his ways and make sure he takes up his share of responsibilities. I was satisfied and happy and thought that maybe he wasn't aware of how to coexist with another person. I was hoping to see some changes in his habits and see the positive impact of our conversation. Unfortunately, it became clear that our financial values and priorities were too different us to continue living together harmoniously. I was feeling anxious and overwhelmed with the amount of never-ending tasks around the house. Also, Derek was not the kind of person from whom I could expect any kind of help or responsibility to do household chores. It became increasingly apparent that our living situation was not sustainable as our differing financial values and priorities caused constant tension. I realized that to maintain my own well-being, I needed to find a new living arrangement that aligned better with my needs and expectations. I knew that I just had to hold my breath till this pandemic was over and everything was back to normal so that I could then ask Derek to leave. I knew in my head that this relationship was over from my end, and I just had to wait for the right moment to break the news to Derek. It was clear that prioritizing my own mental health and happiness was crucial in making this decision, even if it meant having difficult conversations with Derek about our future living arrangements. It was evident that there was a cold and unsettling uneasiness between us. I knew that delaying the inevitable conversation was only prolonging both of our suffering, but I also needed to ensure that I was in the right headspace to handle the aftermath of ending the relationship. It was time to gather my courage and have an honest discussion with Derek about moving forward separately. With the pandemic coming to an end and the world slowly getting back to normal, the industry was opening to resume work. I had an audition for a role in one of the television series that was going to be streamed on Netflix. It was a big deal as it would mean that I would have a substantial amount of money, which would help me with my finances, and probably I would be able to move out and not live with Derek any longer. I made sure that I was well prepared and dressed appropriately for my audition.